You answer. Mm. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Sorry, we've been having some technical issues, so we're kind of on the, and for some reason this thing says 7 o'clock, but it let me go live anyway, so all is good. It's just a fun day. It's a thankful day. We learn through all of our trials and tribulations, but enough about that. How has your Thankful Thursday been? Hope it's been super fantastic and sparkling. And now I have, and let us know in the comments below what you got up to today. And I am making sure I got comments on here. Yep. All right. So I am super excited because I get to introduce you all, if you don't already know her, and you should. Well, I know a lot of people in Colorado Springs know this wonderful, amazing woman. This is Brenda Sanchez, and she is the co-author of the best-selling book, Life's Real Currency. She has served her country in the Air Force for 27 years and has over 9 years, and for over 9 years has been serving the business community. She is a master connector, and boy, does she know a lot of people, and loves teaching businesses a proven marketing strategy to stand head and shoulders above the competition. Brenda and her husband, Michael, have done the research for you on the best tools available to save time, make more money. They have consulted and mentored thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs and love helping businesses thrive, not just survive. Brenda, welcome.
Thank you, Helen. I'm so excited to be on your show. For those that are watching right now, they should go to YouTube and find the interview I did of you, because they may not know that you also served.
Well, I was about to tell them that because that was part of our thing. I'd hinted to them where did I hint that? In this morning's episode of day whatever I'm on, 715, that we had something in common, and it was the fact that you served in the U.S. Air Force when I served in the Royal New Zealand Air Force.
Right.
And I was a corporal, and you were a major?
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. So, we had that in common, and I was going to talk about our little interview that we did so that they could go check that out, because Brenda every Monday does a thing called Military Mondays. And tell us a little bit about Military Mondays, Brenda.
So Military Mondays is my give back. Of course, I gave back because I served, but I love, as you said earlier, connecting and helping businesses, especially veteran businesses, to get the word out, because so many people want to support veteran businesses. In the U.S. And even abroad, people like to support the military, but they don't necessarily know who the veteran business owners are or the spouses. And so I like to highlight them on Monday mornings. So if a watcher, listener right now is in that category, they're a veteran or currently serving military, or the spouse, I would love to have a conversation with them, because maybe I'll have them on my Military Mondays.
Ooh, that would be awesome. We find you some new interviewees.
Yeah.
We always love doing that. So you did 27 years in the U.S. Air Force. What is the most valuable lesson you learned in the Air Force that you are applying in business today?
I think the big thing you learn in the military, whether it be the Air Force or any branch of the service, is to think outside the box. We have to think on our feet all the time, and to think outside the box and do things differently, because plan A doesn't always work. So you need a plan B and a plan C. And so those in business that are doing marketing right now, their plan A may not be the most effective and the best return on investment. So I like to just teach them other options that are out there, so that they can take advantage of things that may be outside of their thinking or outside the box.
I love thinking outside the box.
I know you do.
But sometimes the simple answers are right inside the box. You just don't know it, and you finally find them hiding in that little corner down there.
Yeah, that's so true.
So why did you write, what was it like to write a book with your husband? Because I know you're two very different personalities, but you fit together so well. And so what was it like writing a book with Mike?
So it was amazing and challenging. So as you said, we think very differently. Mike thinks very linear. He's got to have it all planned out in his head before he writes anything down on paper. And I'm the type of person that throws it up on paper and then reorganizes it. So it was definitely a challenge. Learned that it's much better if I let him write something and then I edit it. Versus the other way around. But I would challenge anybody to read our book and figure out what chapters he initially wrote and what chapters I initially wrote, because there is, so far, nobody's been able to figure it out. So I'm going to challenge Helen. She's got our book. So go read it and tell me which ones Mike wrote and which ones I wrote as the main author before it was edited.
I have to put my publishing hat on and go read it that way. Instead of reading it for the tidbits, now go read the writing for the writing styles. Okay, that is an interesting challenge. Yeah. I'm up for it. Hang on, I need to write that down on a bit of paper here. Got my Post-its.
Yeah. You also learn a lot about each other and how each other deals with stress and just different things. Work, not only writing a book, but working together.
Yes, with Brad, it was because he was very much the very linear engineering mind, he had to have all of his ducks in a row and everything else, but very much like Mike. And that's why you and I get on so well together, because we're just very much fly by the seat of our pants and figure it out later.
I really think that comes from somewhat from our military experience, because you have processes and procedures and you train for one way, but you have to fly by the seat of your pants, because almost never is plan A the way it goes.
Exactly. And you could be in the middle of, I didn't actually go into any wars or anything else. And I was a publication specialist, which meant I sat in the library making sure all the manuals were up to date so everybody could do their jobs. And like for the aircraft, making sure that all the numbers, well, I didn't make sure all the numbers were, the officers who wrote the manuals had to. But we had to proofread to make sure we didn't have one digit out of date or out of sync or anything. And that was just so focused on what we were doing that you need that release to then get out there. And I guess that's why it's all the fly by the seat of your pants thing, because got to go against the system a little way somehow.
Yeah, definitely.
All those rules and regulations, that's probably why I didn't last very long.
I'm surprised I lasted 27 years.
Yeah, I only lasted 6, and you lasting 27. I'm like, wow. So you have an interesting story about how you and Mike met and how you won him over a poker game.
Yep.
So tell us about that.
So I actually met Mike playing poker when I was going through my divorce, and afterwards. I met him after the divorce, and I actually met him through his kids. But because I met him over a poker game, I say I won him in a poker game, and he says, "I'm no fool, I lost on purpose." But yeah, my stepkids actually introduced me to their dad.
That is awesome. That is such a cool story. And do you have that written down for your grandkids?
Not yet, but I should.
You should, because that's such a cool story. And that's one of the questions that we have in the genealogy list of questions is, how did you and your spouse meet? So that would be a great one to put in there.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, my grandmother did a book that's all about her, and my sister has it, but I have a copy of it.
Yeah, those books where you get to fill in the questions on different aspects of your life over the years is such a huge treasure for the descendants that come along, because it tells them, what life was like during certain time periods. And if you put in there like different events, events that happened during your lifetime, where you were, what you remember about them, then that too is just such an incredible story to leave behind, because now they have a personal connection to that historic event.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like with Richard Branson doing his flight the other day, I went back and thought, okay, what's some key moments in flight and in space? And I wrote them all out. And I thought, wow, we have come a long way since 1903, when the first flights took place. So, and depending whether you're a New Zealander or not, as to whether it was Richard Pearce or the Wright brothers who did the first flight, it all happened in 1903. So we've come a long way since then. So I had another question for you. I totally forgot it. It popped into my head and then it disappeared. I hate it when it does that. But we do have a comment from Jason who said he loves that painting behind you and wants to know if it's Daniel Wall.
No, it's not. I'm trying to remember. It's El Franzo or something like that. He's passed away recently, and you can find him. I'll put it in the comments below when we get done. I'll find it. Aframove or something like that is what it's called. It's an unusual name, and they're actually selling his pieces at a discount because he's passed and his family's trying to just get rid of the inventory.
Wow. Great time to pick up some great deals because those are awesome paintings.
Yeah, we have 4 of them in the house.
Yeah, I remember. And they are fantastic paintings. So what was one of your, so working with your husband was the biggest challenge. How long did it take you guys to write that book?
Helen knows that answer.
Well, people are always talking about writing their books. I'm still writing my book that I started back in 2010.
Yeah. So when I retired from the Air Force in 2015, shortly after that, we contracted to write our book. And it wasn't until 2018 that it was published. And from 2015 till August of 2017, so a year and a half, we then went to an event in LA where we met. We didn't meet Helen in person. She was on the screen that day, a networking event that Casey does. And it was that August that we finally started writing stuff down on paper because it was about maybe 5% or 10% written. And from August of 2017 to December, we got it all written and turned over to the publisher. So, what stops you from getting a book done, and Helen probably can tell you this, is one time, but it's mindset.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
For most people, it's what makes me an expert. Who's going to listen to me? It's all that negative self-talk. It's that devil sitting on the shoulder saying, hey, you can't do this. You're no good, and it's having to overcome those personal blockages. And once you break through that, it's amazing how quick you can actually write a book.
So besides the little devil sitting on your shoulder telling you couldn't do this and having to work with your husband who is a complete different personality and works very different to you, what other challenges did you have writing your book?
I think the big thing was the mindset. That was the biggest challenge, is the mindset. What makes us an expert? Who would want to read our book? That's, I think, the biggest challenge to writing a book, because whatever you do, you are an expert in it. You've been doing it, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, 10 years, you have knowledge that somebody else doesn't have. And you have a story and a way of telling something that is very different than anybody else. You can go to a seminar. You can go to seminar after seminar after seminar and hear the exact same philosophies and strategies. And then all of a sudden, somebody says it a little bit different and it clicks. Mm-hmm. And so everyone out there needs to hear your message and needs to hear the way that you tell your story or present business strategies, because I've had people read our book and say, it's nothing new. I knew all of this, but it was just presented in a way that clicked and made me start to do some of the things.
It's like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Oh, I love that. I live by that, because it's sort of like Casey kept telling me for years to. There was something that what was it? Email campaigns, for years to do email campaigns, And I resisted and resisted and resisted. And then I went to a workshop with John Loga, and he had me doing email campaigns that weekend. And when we met, in fact, it was 2 days before our mastermind meeting. And when we met at the mastermind meeting, I said, I did an email campaign. And Casey was like, what?
How long have I been telling you about this?
But, sometimes it's, yes, he repeats it over and over and over again. And you go, oh, yeah, he's talking about that again. I'll write it down again because it's important. I'll write it down. And then suddenly somebody says, like you said, says it a little different. It's like, that's what he's been telling me all this time.
Yep.
I have had lots of moments like that over the years where one person is telling me the same thing over and over and over again. Somebody comes in and says a little different. All of a sudden, it's like a big awakening, like an aha moment. And you start talking about it. And the person who's been telling you, goes, I've been telling you that for years.
Well, I think it goes back to the personalities and like the buying, the way people buy in a bank.
Yep.
What is that called? The bank. And when somebody's always talking to you, let's say you're a blueprint and they're always talking to you with the action language, it's not going to click. But the minute somebody comes along and says the exact same thing, but tweaks the words and is talking in your language, all of a sudden this huge light bulb goes on. And it's like, oh, now I get it.
That's why I like hearing different people talk about different, the same topics. And some people say to me, says, why are you going to this seminar again? It's just going to be the same stuff that you've heard over here. And I'm like, because I want to hear how they say it to see if there's anything in there that may be the same, but it just might click this time. And that's why, because how they talk language is huge.
Yep.
That is huge in this. So that's why I'm interested to go back and reread your book and but try and see if I can figure out who wrote which chapter. I'm going to look forward to that challenge. I'm going to look forward to that challenge. Now, we've been having this thing scrolling across the bottom of the screen while we've been on here that's talking about a free copy of 3 strategies to grow your business. So can you tell us just a little bit about that and why people would want to go pick it up?
Sure. So we share our top 3 strategies to grow your business. 3 things, simple things that we have learned that you can incorporate in your business that will help explode your business. And so we just wanted to share that for free to all of your listeners or watchers. And you can go to tinyurl.com/top3strat, STRAT. So
and we will put
your copy.
And we will put that into the comments here so that people can go. Oh, I can't comment just yet. I will put it in the comments after we get off the live. So you're going, I can't I put it in the comments? And it says, you can't post comment per Facebook program. I'm like, oh, okay. It's amazing what you learn. I mean, technology these days.
Yeah.
Well, Brenda, do you have any last minute words of wisdom? And if people would like to learn more about you and your book, what can they do?
So I just want to share that you all are incredible and you have something to share. If you're in business, somebody needs to learn something from you today. So go share your genius with the world. And I would love to have a conversation with you and see how we could collaborate together. And if you want to book a discovery session and meet with us, you can just go to our website, which is www.lifes, LIFES, real, REAL, currency, CURRENCY.com. So lifesrealcurrency.com. And we'd love to have a conversation with you.
Excellent. And we had a last minute curly question coming for you. If you had a 4th strategy to add to your list, what would it be?
Oh, wow. I know what it would be is consistency. Whatever you do, be consistent. Even if I was talking to somebody today and she said, even if it's just one phone call or one email or one text message a day to move your business forward, I recommend that you implement consistency in your business because the consistent person will win every single time.
Awesome. Great answer. Well, Brenda, thank you so much for being on tonight. as we get closer to that 2-year anniversary of doing a Facebook Live every day. We're at day 715. We've got 16 days until the 2-year anniversary. So I'm like, yay. If you want to grab your copy of the 3 strategies to grow your business, go to tinyurl.com/top3strats. We will put it in the comments for you. And if you would like to book a discovery call with Brenda, just go to lifesrealcurrency.com. And we'll also put that link into the description for you as well. So everybody go out. Thank you, Brenda. And thank you.
Thank you, Helen. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Everybody have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we will catch you guys back here tomorrow morning for Fun Friday, and we get to pull something out of the tin. So we'll come back tomorrow morning and we'll figure out what it is. Hey, konera.